Hi everyone, welcome back. We're going to go ahead and play a little bit more with arrays, and I'm also going to throw in the mix the random number generator that we used in one of our previous videos. We're going to combine those two, and we're going to go ahead and make an 8-ball. Now, it won't have all the fancy features like animation, and the 8-ball won't actually shake, but we'll be able to ask the 8-ball some questions, and the 8-ball will go ahead and respond. Giving us some sense of direction in regards to the questions that we ask the 8-ball. So yeah, it'll be good. So if we go back to our form, this is form 1. Just remember, every form and every control that's in the toolbox, such as a label, most of these are user interface controls. They have properties, and a lot of these properties you can access them right from the user interface. And on the right hand side we have properties, and you can see that there's appearance, there's font, there's colors, there's a design section. So all of these are accessible through code, and they're also accessible through the Visual Studio IDE. So to start off, we will go ahead and just kind of select those properties and assign those properties via the IDE, so on the screen here. So let's go ahead and change the background of this actual form. To do that, we go under appearance, and then the back color is the background color, obviously. And let's go ahead and select control dark. Okay, and feel free to mess around with this. There's 3 tabs. There's a custom tab for custom colors. There's a web tab that gives you way more colors than the system tab. The system tab usually has colors that are found within the Windows environment. This is a little bit more geared to like older versions of Windows. It's still being used now, but obviously these are system colors. So we'll do the control dark, and then what we will go ahead and do is we'll go to our toolbox on the left hand side. We're going to need a label. Now the label's pretty small, so we're also going to change some of the properties of the label. And let's go ahead and do the color first. I'm going to go ahead and do a white. And then I'm going to change the font to a bold. And let's do something that we're familiar with, like an Arial. And then the size will be maybe a 16. I kind of don't like that. Let's do an Arial rounded. Let's do a 20. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, cool. And then we'll place that there. We're gonna name it. Let's change the actual name for the control. So instead of label 1, we're gonna say output. Usually I'll name it something like output, and then I'll also include in the name what the control is. Because a lot of times once I start adding a lot of these controls onto a form, I forget, one might say output button and then output label. So that always kind of gives me a sense of peace that I know what the actual control is going to be when I'm, assigning a value in our CS file via code. So the name is going to be output label, and then for the text we're going to go ahead and delete everything. That'll kind of hide our label there. Okay, and then what we want to do is, we're going to go ahead and bring a button to the front. And let's make it big. It's always nice to just have a big button. And then we'll go ahead and say this button's name is Get Answer Button. Okay. And then the actual text on the button, we will go ahead and say Answer Me. And again, you can change the font. So if we want to make this a little bigger, we can. And we'll leave it as is. That's fine, and let's go ahead and double click on this, button here, and we have an event, just like we did before. This is the old button from the last tutorial. I've gone ahead and deleted that button. And this is something to keep in mind. As you create or you drag controls from the actual toolbox onto your form, if you ever delete them, make sure to delete any of the code in the back. So for instance, this event wasn't deleted, it was just a control. So if I were to start up the application, it would start up fine, everything works, but at the end of the day, I do have some code that's unnecessary. So I'm just going to copy and paste this into our new event, and that is for our new button. And instead of names, we're going to change the name of the array, and it'll be answers. One of the things that I did want to mention in our last video, I went ahead and created an array, but I wanted to let you guys know that you can also create an array without the new keyword and strings. So here I have new string. We're also identifying what type of object it is. What you can actually do is you can actually just do equals, open and close. We'll do open and close curly braces, and then we can say, you know, these are the answers. This is going to be our array. So these will be the answers for the 8-ball. So we can do yes, no. These are some of the popular ones, right? What else does an 8-ball do? Or what else does an 8-ball say? Let's see. Without a doubt. And then outlook good. That's one that I really remember myself. And I apologize about that. My mic is kind of falling off, so I'll readjust it. And then let's say ask again later. We'll do a couple more here. Most likely. And it is certain. Whoops. Yeah, apologize. My mic keeps falling off. Bring that in here. My headset. Okay, so we have our array of answers, and what we're going to do is we won't keep track of how many elements there are. If you ever want to find out how many elements an array has, we could actually just use the length property. So let's just test this out while we're at it. So it'll be output label.text equals, remember we're updating the text property, which takes strings. We'll do answers, and then there's a length property that we can use. Now the length property returns an integer. So what we'll do is after that we're going to attach but we'll go ahead and call the toString method to make sure that it gets converted into a string. And let's get rid of our try and catch for now, and let's give that a go. And this is going to give us the total size of our array, and it's 7. So there's 7 elements in the answers array, okay? So what we want to do next is we want to generate a random number, and we will use our, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create, we're going to use a random object. So we'll do random number equals random, oops, I'm sorry about that. We actually have to go ahead and create the random object first. So the type is going to be random of the class random, and then this is the name of the variable like we did in the previous video. And then the equals is going to be new random, because it's a new random object. And then if we want to grab a random number, right, random, we're going to use the next function, and it takes 2 parameters, just like we did in the last video. It's going to be Let's do 0 because we know that the arrays start at 0, and then the max amount will be answers dot length. Okay. And then what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and access the element from our answers. So it'll be answers, open and close brackets, and then the random number. And that's going to give us the value. So think of it as a key and a value. The key that gets read into our answers and my microphone just keeps on falling, but so if you're wearing headphones or you have the volume really high, I do apologize about that. So what we do is we have a key and value for, well, we don't have a key and value. I'm trying to explain how arrays work, but I think you guys get the picture. So in order to obtain the value of a certain element, we provide the index of that element. So if we wanted to retrieve yes, we would retrieve it with an index of 0 and then 1 an index of 1. No with an index of 1. Okay, so let's hit the start button and we should get random answers. Yes, let's click it again. It is certain. It is certain again. It is certain again. We keep getting the same thing. Ask again later. Outlook is good. Ask again later. Okay, that's great. That's beautiful. So that's how we have our 8-ball. Well, let's add another button, and this will just be for us to reset the 8-ball. We'll place it on the bottom right hand corner. Excuse me. And it'll have the actual text property called reset, and then we will say it's the reset button. Okay, and then we double click it. What we want to do is we want to reset this text here from the output label. So we will do output.text equals, and we can do empty quotation marks, or another alternative that I like to use is string.empty. Just like that. We'll hit start. So we have text there. We reset the text, and now it's gone. Okay? So now we have 2 events and then 2 buttons. Okay? Last but not least, let's go ahead and place a picture of an 8-ball. And I do apologize, I don't have a picture of an 8-ball, but I'm starting to realize that, yeah, that's an 8 in the center, so just, we'll do, there we go. We'll do something like this. Excuse me. And usually I like to grab a PNG, as a PNG will help just for the background. Yep. So we'll do a desktop 8-ball. What I'll do is I'll drag this over. Actually, it's been a while since I've used WinForms, so let's go to picture, and we have to import the picture. So in your toolbox, you'll have a picture box. Extend this over and make it big, and then right click on it, and we're going to send it to back, because what's happening here is our label is behind this picture. Then click this, there's like a small arrow pointing to the right, and then choose image, and then local resource import. We will do desktop 8-ball and hit OK. And now we have our 8 ball.